Right now, as you're sitting there, an invisible war is being fought inside your body. It is a constant, high-stakes battle between you and this army of microscopic invaders. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how that fight works. To really get what's at stake, let's start with a story. It begins back in March 2012 with a British woman who was visiting family in India. While she was there, she got bitten by a dog. It didn't seem like a big deal, you know? The bite wasn't bad, so she didn't get it checked out, and pretty quickly just forgot all about it. But the thing is, the microscopic invader from that bite, it hadn't forgotten. 7 weeks later, back home in Britain, she started to feel sick. At first, the symptoms were really mild, and when she went to the hospital, the doctors were completely stumped. And crucially, it never occurred to her to mention a small dog bite from almost 2 months ago. Why would it? As she got sicker and sicker, she was eventually sent to a specialist hospital. And it was there that they finally figured it out: rabies. But here's the terrible thing about rabies. Once the symptoms show up, it is almost always fatal. The virus had already won the battle. Her story is just this tragic, powerful reminder of how serious these invisible enemies really are. That rabies virus is the perfect antagonist for our story today, so it's time we formally introduce the enemy. We call them pathogens. So what exactly is a pathogen? Well, to put it simply, it's a microorganism, something so tiny you can't see it with your naked eye, that causes a disease. These are the culprits behind everything from a simple cold to much, much more serious illnesses. Now, pathogen isn't just one type of bad guy. It's a general term for a whole bunch of different attackers. The 4 main groups are viruses, like influenza, bacteria, which can cause things like cholera, protoctists, which are behind diseases like malaria, and even fungi, which are responsible for stuff like athlete's foot, a whole diverse army of them. So, with all these different threats out there, how does our body even begin to protect itself? Well, it all starts with a really strong perimeter. Let's take a look at our body's first line of defense. I want you to think of your body as a fortress, and these are its outer walls. Your skin is this amazing, tough, physical barrier that keeps most things out. Then you've got mucus in your nose and throat that literally traps invaders. Your stomach acid is like a chemical weapon that destroys pathogens that you might swallow with your food. And if that wall ever gets breached, say you get a cut, bam, blood clots form to seal the opening right up. These simple barriers stop the overwhelming majority of attacks before they even get started. But what happens when a really determined pathogen manages to get past those walls? Well, that's when the body calls in its elite special forces, the immune system. The second an invader gets through, the alarms go off. And that's when these specialized white blood cells, the real heroes of our story called lymphocytes, are mobilized. Their job is to launch a highly specific, targeted attack against that one particular enemy. And their battle plan is just brilliant. It's a 4-step process. First, a specific lymphocyte recognizes a unique molecule on the pathogen surface called an antigen. Think of it like the enemy's uniform. Second, once it has the right guy, that lymphocyte starts cloning itself like crazy, building an army. Third, this new army pumps out these amazing proteins called antibodies. And fourth, these antibodies are custom-made to lock onto the pathogen's antigens, like a key fitting perfectly into a lock, completely neutralizing the threat. Now, here's the catch. This whole process, as amazing as it is, isn't instant. It takes time to find the one right lymphocyte and then build up a big enough army of clones to fight. And in that window of time, the pathogen is multiplying inside of you. That's what makes you feel sick. But here's where it gets really, really cool. Your body doesn't just win the battle, it learns from it. And this is the absolute key to how we build immunity. So after the infection is cleared out, most of that lymphocyte army just stands down. But some of them, they stick around for years, sometimes even for your entire life, and they become what we call memory cells. Their one and only job is to remember that specific enemy's uniform. And this chart shows you exactly why those memory cells are such a game changer. That graph on the left, that's your body's response to a first infection. See how it's kind of slow and doesn't get very high? But now look at the graph on the right for a second infection. Thanks to those memory cells, the response is almost immediate. It's way, way stronger, and it wipes out the pathogen before you even know you're sick. You've become immune. This whole process gives us 2 different types of immunity. There's active immunity, which is what we've been talking about. Your body does all the work, creating its own antibodies and those all-important memory cells. It's long-lasting. Then there's passive immunity. Think of this like a short-term loan. You get antibodies that were made by someone or something else, like a baby getting them from its mother's milk. It works right away, but it doesn't last because your body didn't learn how to make them itself. And this brings us to the genius of vaccination. A vaccine is basically a training exercise for your immune system. It introduces a safe, weakened, or dead version of the pathogen. This lets your body go through the whole process of creating antibodies and, most importantly, memory cells, all without the risk of actually getting sick. It's like a fire drill for your immune system. And the impact of this idea is just staggering. Take smallpox. The global campaign to wipe it out was a success because over 80% of the world's at-risk population got vaccinated. And by 1980, this horrible disease was declared extinct in the wild. I mean, what a massive public health victory, all thanks to training our immune systems. Okay, so we've met the enemy, we've seen our fortress, and we've met the elite army fighting inside us. So what does this all mean for us? Let's talk about how we can support our body's fight. You can actually be a huge ally to your own immune system, and it doesn't take anything complicated. We're talking about simple stuff: washing your hands, cooking your food properly, keeping raw meat away from other foods. Every single one of these steps reduces the number of pathogens your body has to fight, which just lightens the load on your internal defenses. So let's just wrap up with this thought. Your body is this incredible self-defending system, and it is fighting countless invisible battles for you every single day, every single moment. Understanding how it works is the first step. The real question, the one I'll leave with you, is this. Knowing what you know now, how are you going to support it?